Hey, it's Dorleen again, and today I am sharing my third signature from my junk journal. If you watch my other two videos, I did a little bit more explanation of it, but I know many people do junk journals differently. What I've done is I've created signatures made out of, well, I'm going to call it junk, but basically items you would probably throw away, and I created an art journal. So I'm going to go through my third signature. So years and years ago, I used to participate in a lot of swaps, and this was one that was like a feminine swap. So I just added it to the book. It's an Audrey Hepburn quote, but I did have this Marilyn Monroe washi, and I thought, okay, I know it's not Marilyn, and obviously Marilyn and Audrey are two different people, but it still had that 50s vibe. And then I found these patterns that my mom had given me a bunch of different sewing items. I was kind of going through stuff, tossing a lot of stuff, but I really liked the retro look, so I colored it in and I kept the date of the pattern. I thought that was really cool. So that's a pretty neat one. Here's another drawing that I did, and again it's through willowing.org, which is part of her Kaleidoscope 2020, and it's a whimsical lion. I really like the way it turned out. I've never attempted to paint eyes, and I mean, I know they're not the greatest, but I was pretty impressed with myself on that. So that was a lot of fun. This was just a kind of a watercolor thing I was experimenting with. I liked it enough to keep it, but not enough to put it on a card, so it was perfect for this album. Just some mop-off of paint and just kind of messing around. Obviously, what I'm calling a blank sheet, even though it's not blank as far as a plain white sheet on a blank canvas. So this was a magazine page. This was a regular, like a notebook page. You could see the lines. And then this is a really cute spread that I did. I know I have a blog post on this junk, and if you look real closely, you can see that this is the I guess outline of stickers. So the inside here were stickers. I plopped that on there, but it just looks cute because it's not really in your face. It's, you know, again, it's like layers of different art, and that's what I like about mixed media, is you can create all these layers. I made a bunch of Valentine's cards as well, and on the paper, instead of throwing out the cardstock that I cut these papers on, I used it as a stencil, so you can see how it's love and love. So I used it as a stencil on that, so that was pretty fun too. I don't know what that is, just a piece of paper. And then the bee with the vellum wings. This is empty page. This was a random piece of, actually it's really bright art that I made a copy of, so it's a copy of a piece of original art. This is just probably me cleaning off my paintbrush because it's pretty ugly. There's that other side of that magazine sheet, and then this was one of those coloring pages, you know, the adult coloring books, and I was just kind of messing around with it. I didn't really like it enough, again, to put it on a card or something, but I thought it'd be cute here. And actually this is just kind of the start of this page, because I can definitely add more to it to make it something, a finished page. This is, I don't know if you can see it, it's actually upside down, but this was a March Madness bracket from 2018. That's for basketball, college basketball. And I did a whole video on these because I made a bunch of cards, and they turned out really super cute. And again, perfect, because it's just a little background. If you really look closely, you can see that it's the bracket. I love stuff like that. And this was just a little sheet. I added an index card on there. Did a little stamping, another butterfly. This is actually 2 index cards back to back, which were just, I had ink on my craft sheet and I just mopped it up with the index card. She'll need to do something with that. This was an index card art, but it's actually a copy of it. And then I just painted stripes to add to it so it corresponded, and then stamped that bear. I love that bear, that's so cute. And except for the little white I put in the ear, I kept it just open. This is actually unusual, so I actually have a white piece of paper. I mean, there's a little bit of splotches, but definitely pretty white compared to everything else that's in here. This is a book page. Here's another page, another index card that I did, and I thought it looked really cute here, just with some black washi and a pretty paint in the background. This one looks like I started to work on it, but I never really finished it. Kind of interesting. It looks like I have a playing card either the card or a sticker there. So again, the layers, you don't really notice them. You can tell that there's some print behind all this too. So fun. And then this was a piece that I did. I did an art during this whole COVID thing. A lot of people were doing a lot of free virtual art classes, so I took advantage of that. This is kind of symbolizing like me in my two different parts of me, I guess. One that's my own self, and what I'm trying to accomplish for my own self, and then the other being, a mother and a wife and taking care of others, things like that. But with all these free art lessons, I did decide to do them in my junk journal instead of like on a canvas or a sketchbook or anything like that, because I knew I wouldn't do anything with it, and I thought it would be fun to just incorporate those lessons in here. So again, that's the back side of that book page. This is just tissue, and then I painted just random tabs. So the little people here were from a postcard, so I created a mask stencil. I have a YouTube video on this one, so that was a lot of fun. This is one of my favorite ones. These are stickers that I made with some original art. And what I did is I took my 8.5 by 11 piece of art and then went through the copier and put them on stickers. I just kind of plopped them on, and then I, painted around it, and then I, just made marks here and there, and added a quote on it. I really like this. As a matter of fact, I have a card. I mentioned in my previous videos that on my favorite pieces of art, I make a copy, take a picture of them, and then have them made into cards and note cards, 4 1/4 by 5 5.5 note cards. And this was one of them. I really like that. And then this is one of my favorites too. This cardboard or cardstock skull is actually from one of my goddaughter's baby showers, and it was just kind of sitting in my dresser because I keep everything, and I decided to kind of make it the pretty skull, sugar skull, and then I just use a white ink pen and put a little quote there. And then on the back of that, this was actually a postcard. On the back of that was this girl on there, and I think it was an ad for makeup or whatever. So I just kind of added, prettied her up, or added little marks around her. This one again, really kind of a hot mess, but then I covered for the most part covered it up with the girl and put a quote there. That is actually from a produce bag. This is another piece that I did. I made cards with. It doesn't have a quote on it, but it's still a note card. And I'll have more information about those cards on my blog, which is www.craftsinthecommandcenter.blogspot.com. That will also be below, and it's probably typing along as I'm talking right now. But this was one of my favorites. So what I did is I just took a bunch of red and dark pink scraps and green, and just started kind of cutting like these random, not really but U-shaped, some larger, some smaller, and then I just kind of put them together to make them look like flowers. And the blue is just watercolor, and then I just put marks here and there. So those are my favorites. So that's the back side of one of my prints that I talked about earlier. This is just a white sheet. I'm not sure what that is. Feels pretty heavy, so it's probably like an envelope or something. And that's a heart doily that I just glued on, put some ink over it. These are pages that are not complete. Same thing here, just use a stencil, put some ink. This is a piece of a magazine, and on this one I added some cardstock that I had, and then I painted over it, and then I stamped these images and colored them in, added a little sentiment there. This one is obviously not done. This is not done. This is actually a paper bag, which you can tell. And this is another free virtual event that I did or participated in, and this was through the Paint Night. I believe that's what it's called, the organization. And I love how this turned out. It was really just this, and since it had a coordinating page, This was the name, the actual name of the piece of art, Stop Hate Go Love. So that's why I decided to do that. And how I colored it is when I was cleaning my brushes for this side, I was just kind of adding the color over on this side as well. So I really love that piece. I just did that. And you can tell by this, I don't know if you can see that flap. So this was an open envelope, you know, again, garbage, right? Junk. Oh, and this is the last of the third signature. So this is, oh, you can tell it's the inside of that envelope. Looks like I just kind of brushed off some paint here and there. And this is part of that snippet roll that I talked about in one of my earlier videos. So that's it for the third signature. Please stay tuned for the 4th, 5th, and 6th. I have 6 signatures total. And if you haven't seen them already, 1 through 2 was right before these. I'm going to be posting these once a week on Wednesdays for the next few weeks. And then at the end, how I made my cover and how I made it all, put it all together. So I hope you enjoyed it. Give me a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel. And again, go to my blog, which will be listed below, or my Instagram, or both, so you can see more of my work. Give me a thumbs up, and I'll see you later. Bye.